Hi all, hope everyone is well. Just wanted to go over a few items from last week and this week, as well as some of the quiz questions from last week. Hard to believe we're starting week 3. It seems like I can't believe Christmas has passed, let alone the vast majority of January. So time is flying very quickly. So in week 2, which is last week, we had talked about strategic planning, law, policy, ethics, compliance. You'll have individual, if you're in the HSA major, you'll have individual classes in strategic planning, law and ethics, and health policy. So more to come on those in those classes, as well as the concepts classes, which are 2300, HSAM 2300 and HSAM 2350, which are kind of the next steps in either the major or minor in health administration. So you'll get a lot more detail on those topics in those classes, as well as the individual courses for those areas. So we did have a case study that was due last night. If you have not submitted, and honestly, I haven't even looked to see if all the submissions were in. I did send out some reminders today, but I'm currently teaching 4 classes at the same time, which I've never done before. So it's time consuming, and I am tending to get the classes mixed up. So if you received a note that you hadn't completed your self and peer assessment, please do that as soon as possible. I cannot grade. I will not finalize grades. I can grade them, but I won't finalize grades until I receive that from everybody. So even though maybe one of your group mates had gone forward and submitted the case study on behalf of your group, please make sure that you've submitted your individual self and peer assessment, which assesses your work in the case study as well as the work of the folks that you that had worked with, and you'll find it here in the classroom. So very important. We had our quiz and our ed puzzle from last week. So let's take a look at that first, and then we'll move on to week 5. So quiz from last week. First question, which of the following is not part of the definition of healthcare malpractice? So think about that definition of malpractice. Malpractice overall is negligence in a professional setting. So obviously negligence, which is our bottom answer here, that's going to be correct. But when we're talking about healthcare malpractice or medical malpractice, we're talking specifically about professional healthcare people. So it could be physicians, nurses, could be administrators, can be guilty of malpractice. So a person in a healthcare profession is going to be part of the definition. And then as part of negligence, carelessness and recklessness are part of that. So it could be that you're sometimes malpractice is purposeful, and in that case, it can actually lead to criminal activity, such as assault and battery, etc. But if it's not purposeful and it's accidental due to you acting carelessly or recklessly, that is also negligence. So carelessness, recklessness, negligence, person in a healthcare profession, all part of the definition of healthcare malpractice. Overpayment is not. So outside of payments, sometimes if let's say you are a patient in a malpractice action, and you file suit against, obviously, the provider or whomever it is, you may receive payment, you may receive a settlement, or you may receive payment otherwise. But overpayments tend to be related to fraud and abuse action and not related to malpractice. So our correct answer here was overpayment. Okay, so sorry about that. I had a small blip there for a second. So which of the following is not a potential barrier to successful execution of a strategic plan? So let's think of the things that would not be barriers. Not enough strategies to implement. That would not be a barrier, because you may only have one item that you're looking to implement, one small goal. Strategies can be small or big. So not having enough strategies is not a problem at all. You may only have one, so that would not be a barrier to implementation. Strategies that do not align with the organization's culture. Well, that certainly could be a barrier to implementation or execution, because you don't want to, let's say that you are maybe you're a Catholic healthcare system, and generally the Catholic Church does not believe in birth control, abortion, things like that. So it's not likely that you're going to open up a family planning clinic in your Catholic healthcare organization. It doesn't align with your organization's culture. Now, that's not passing judgment on family planning clinics. I think they're very important and certainly something that we need. And there are plenty of non-Catholic healthcare systems that are interested in providing those services to people that are interested in receiving them. So just make sure that when you're looking at strategy, that you're also, and obviously one of the very first parts of developing strategy, which you'll see as you go forward into strategy development in further coursework, is that you're going to look at the mission and vision of the organization and make sure that any strategies that you're developing align with the culture. A lack of focus on the strategy. Well, that is also a potential barrier. If you're not putting any energy or effort towards execution of the strategy, it's unlikely that you're going to be successful in implementing that strategy. So the two middle bullets are barriers, but the top one is not. There's no requirement of number of strategies, anything like that for implementation. Next one. If an act is legal, it has to be ethical, and that is false. There are plenty of things that are legal but completely unethical, and there are plenty of things that are ethical but not legal, but would be illegal. So think about I'll go back to abortion again, and again, it's not passing judgment one way or the other. Everyone has their own personal views on these things, but abortion is a legal activity generally in the United States, but there are many that argue that it's unethical. So that it's inappropriate to end the life of a fetus within the first trimester, second trimester, or even sometimes in some states, third trimester abortions are legal. It doesn't mean that it's ethical, it just means it's legal. On the flip side, when you think about something like physician-assisted suicide, in most states that is illegal. There are some states where it is legal, but in most states that it is illegal, but there are plenty of folks, not necessarily us here, or you may have one view or the other on any of these topics, and that's kind of the beauty of ethics. We do get to have our own view, but there are plenty that feel that that is a more ethical way to deal with terminal disease, as opposed to having a situation where a loved one or family member has to suffer. Having a situation where physician-assisted suicide is legal would be more ethical. So if it's illegal, it still could very much be ethical. And if it's unethical, it could still be very legal. So it all is dependent on your view. The law is determined by the land. Ethics are a very personal thing. So that's why we tend to see differences there. Okay, so let's go to week 3. So those were all the quiz questions. I think those were all of them that were missed, but if there was something else that was missed and you have a question on it, please just reach out. I'm happy to go over that with you. So this week we're going to take a look at a couple of different areas. First, the role of the patient as a consumer and patient family focused care. And that kind of steps us right into marketing. So we looked a little bit at strategy last week, marketing this week, and the two of them are very related. And you'll see that as we dig into the marketing process a little bit in this week. So we have some videos to watch. You have some readings, obviously. We'll have a discussion this week, but it will be in the written discussion board again. So that is specifically about healthcare marketing. I'm asking everyone to find a piece of healthcare marketing. It can be an advertisement, it can be a billboard, it can be print media. Please don't just share someone's website, although websites can serve as marketing. Everybody has a website nowadays, especially healthcare organizations. So we're looking for a specific marketing campaign of some sort, which would be an ad. You can go on YouTube and find them. If you have one in particular that you like or that you've seen recently on television, there's a good chance you can probably find it on YouTube. Or if you see something in the print media or a billboard or something like that, grab a picture of it, or even look online and see if there's a picture of it. So that's what we're looking for, not just websites. We also have a short paper, 2 to 3 pages, on the specifically to patient-centered, looking at patient-centered care. So make sure that you take the time to kind of dig into that and understand patient-centered care. When you write, please be sure that you're writing in APA format. We are using APA 7th edition. So it's important that, obviously in week one we had that tutorial, and that was purposeful because the expectation is that you'll be writing in that format. If you have questions about APA 7, please let me know, but that is an important piece. I think too, and I'll mention it here as I mentioned earlier, I think I did on this video, I'm teaching several classes right now, and I don't always remember if something is applicable to all classes. I don't remember who I said this to. But please make sure you're writing in your own words. Don't go out and use those websites like Course Hero and Quizlet and Coursical and whatever else is out there. There's literally a million of those helper type websites. Number one, they show up as a hit in our plagiarism check, and so it creates a higher level of scrutiny from me, and more work for me, honestly, when I have to go. A lot of those are, it'll only hit on a small part, whatever's not behind the firewall. So I would encourage you not to use those. You're not going to learn anything if you copy and paste from the internet. Plus, it is a violation of academic integrity, and I've given out plenty of zeros and sent in plenty of academic integrity reports in my day. So we take that very seriously. Cheating is not tolerated, and we just want to make sure that you're learning and reviewing information in a way that that allows us to truly evaluate what you're learning, and perhaps if there's areas where we need to provide more information or education or something on a topic. So going out and copying and pasting, even if we don't catch you, because we certainly don't catch everybody, is really not in your benefit. It's only to your detriment in the long run. So in your paper, please just make sure you're writing it in your own words. Up to 10, well, this is a reflection paper, so it truly should be in your own words. But if you do find the need to use references for certain things, no more than 10% of a paper should be direct quotes. Some people use that to get around plagiarism issues. But if you start to go over 10% in direct quotes, you're going to start to lose points, no matter how good the paper is. So just be aware of that. It's a problem. We're facing it across all of the classes at RMU, especially now that we moved into the online setting more exclusively. We also have our quiz and our Ed puzzle, which is what this is. So any questions, please reach out. Sorry to be a downer about about work. I know that the vast majority of you put a lot of time into your schoolwork and put a lot of effort into it, and we really do appreciate that. But there are some that just choose not to, and we're trying to really try. It costs a lot of money to go to college, and we're really trying to have you guys get the most of the dollars that are being spent toward those things. So any questions or issues, please reach out. Otherwise, I will see everyone in the classroom. Thanks.